just after that, we'd hear the shower go on. And shortly after that, that was the time when the slow chants would begin. At first it seemed nothing different than someone singing in the shower. But as time went on, we began to hear something very familiar. Because day after day, hearing the same sound day after day, you begin to pick things up, and you begin to hear things, and you begin to pick things up, and we clearly made out the word God in his chants. It was amongst the first words that he would express, and he would repeatedly return to them throughout the session. We didn't know our neighbor to be a religious man, but we knew him to be a big sports fan, because every day we'd hear the TV set come up through the floor, and we would hear some sportscaster announcing a song on it about some sports team playing their game. And we also knew that he liked to drink. He was a drinker, because every week when we'd go to take out our trash, the trash would be full of bottles of beer and bottles of gin and bottles of wine, and we didn't drink ourselves. The fact that he was a religious man and the fact that he was a drinker was a bit confusing to us. Now, I've known some religious folks in my day. I've had some roommates who practiced their devotion on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I've never known anyone to practice it every day. So we asked him, the next time we saw him, we asked him, we said, we'd like to know about your devotion to God. And he looked at us and he said, what devotion? Well, we've come up with several theories ourselves, the first of which deals with embarrassment. Perhaps he was ashamed of his faith. That wouldn't be all so surprising, given the anti-religious sentiment in our town. The second had more to do with privacy. This was his life after all. And just because we lived above him didn't entitle us to pry into his personal matters. It wasn't like don't ask, don't tell, but it was more along the lines of if you hear, you forget. The last theory, the one we have clung to the most, has more to do with sustainability. We've come to the conclusion our neighbor is a lonely man. We've never seen anyone come over, and we've never heard any other voices outside of the sportscaster on TV. So maybe his morning ritual gave him the sustenance and companionship that allowed him to survive. This daily devotion to God is what allowed him to have some responsibility, to have some accountability for living a good life.